Hi, guys. Okay, so we talk about being a half centenarian, right? And that things are always progressing. We're living in silos, but we are showing ourselves globally. I want to show you something. Love can happen anytime, anywhere. So we're going to show you a couple that's going to you're going to be like, oh my God, there's hope for me. Just give me a second. Going in to watch Paula Potts and Mr. Eddie in just a second. I can't wait. And I don't even have my Kool-Aid. It's okay. All right, you guys, we are ready with another Power Pack couple. But you're not even ready for this. You're not ready. Let me tell you why. Because Miss Paula and Mr. Eddie, they're going to show us how to make this thing go the right way. And I've just had the wonderful time to speak, a wonderful opportunity, let me say that, to speak with them before we started talking. And before I spill anything, I do want them to introduce themselves to you. So Half Centenarian, sit back, get your coffee, get your wine, get your tea, and you definitely need some popcorn. So I'm going to turn this over to Miss Paula Potts and Mr. Eddie and let them introduce themselves, and then we will dive in from there. We have a lot to talk about, you guys.
Well, Marla, thank you for having us first. We're really delighted to be here.
Absolutely.
We like to talk about our journey together and how we've come to this point and this day to share with you. I'm Paula Potts, as you introduced, also known as Miss Paula, also known as Just Paula.
Right.
That's my tag as a poet. And I just want to say for the record that I am so zen-tabulous.
And yes,
the new
she
age
is.
fabulous. Okay?
Yes, she is.
So that's who I am. A little bit of marketing. You know, I have to throw that in.
That's right. That's why we're here.
That's why we're here. So I'm an author and a poet and an energy medicine practitioner.
Right.
I'm a music producer with my amazing daughter and her husband, Silver Logan Sharp and Daryl L.A. Hunt. I know you know them too.
Yes. They are coming up soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, I'm all about my sacred contract with healing. I'm going to talk a little bit about that as we go forward. But that's sort of what my life revolves around, outside of being a wife and a mother.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and a member of an amazingly talented family that has a really rich life.
Well, and I'm so excited to be able to introduce you guys to all of the talent that surrounds us in this room. I want to let Mr. Eddie introduce himself, and then we will go ahead and get started.
Hi, I'm Edward Earl Smith. They have nicknamed me Mr. Eddie and Mr. E,
Okay.
which I enjoy tremendously. I've had other nicknames I didn't like, but and I have a long variety of occupations. I've traveled the world. I've mostly instructed and taught, and I'm experiencing a whole new adventure with these folks.
You kind of just really gave me a great segue into what the Half Centenarian journey, this whole adventure that I'm on right now, is about. So you've now started a whole new adventure. Talk to me about, I know you guys are newlyweds, and for some of us, that gives me so much hope. And you call yourselves the Hope Couple, and appropriately so. So talk to me about your marriage, and how long have you guys been on this journey together? And if you'd like, you can tell us a little bit about your ages, or you don't have to. But this is it. All of it is just blissful. So just share with us what you would like around your newlywed bliss.
I am 81. Most people don't believe that, but
I don't either.
That's their issue. I'll be 82 in September.
Nice.
I don't think about that number at all. Not at all. Doesn't come into my mind or my being one way or another. But getting back to us, my daughter came to me one day and said, Dad, what you gonna do? You're single. You've done everything that you were supposed to do with your previous wife. So, and there's a lot of interest. A lot of women are wanting to know what's going on with you.
Right.
And I was just not interested. So she said, well, we have someone we think you would like to meet. So on that day, the pretense of her coming to buy jewelry brought me along.
Okay. And how long ago was that?
2016, July 18th, 2016. Was the day we met, the day he came to get the jewelry with his daughter. Okay.
Setting the stage.
So
go ahead.
I asked about her, and they said, well, she's an author. And I said, oh, really? Well, what does she write? And they told me about her book, Yesterday When I Was Crazy. And so I ordered it, and I read it, and I was fascinated by her going through all of that for all of those years.
Right.
And when I met her, there was no comparison between her in the book and her in real life.
Great author.
And what struck me about the beginning of our relationship is that as we were leaving, and this is a moment I always talk about, as we were leaving, I purposely moved close to her. Oh. Now anybody normally would, get away from me. That's you're in my space. She didn't move.
What did that say to you? Like,
that was the beginning of what I was amazed at her about in terms of character, because most of the time, like I said, anybody would just move away.
right.
She didn't. So we left, and my daughter, I'm in the back seat of the car, and my daughter is leaning over the seat going, well, what do you think? Well, what are you going to do? Are you gonna try and talk to her later, and so on and so forth? And I said, cool it. I got my plan. I got my plan. So I finally got to ask her out, and she said, yeah, well, I don't know. I'll drive my car. I said, no, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that.
Right.
If it doesn't go right,
Right.
I'll just bring you back home.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we wind up at Busboy's restaurant.
Okay.
And we start talking about things in common. What do you like, what do you don't like, and so on and so forth. And the subject of music came around.
Okay.
So I asked her, I said, if you could think of a song that would talk a little bit about what you want this relationship to be. And she came up with The Impossible Dream.
Oh, nice. Nice.
I sang The Impossible Dream to her in the restaurant.
Nice.
Best date ever.
Oh my goodness.
Best date ever, hands down.
Yes, as a
Best
side
date.
note.
And it was really a sign of where things were going, because not only did he ask me that question, and the old cynical Paula, we talk about our relationship representing us making changes in the way we see things and changes in our presence in the world so that we could have this relationship be the outcome. And I was sitting there, I was like, did he just ask me a stupid question? That's what my
Your
old
other
mind
self
is
would have
thinking
said.
about. My other mind is going, he just asked me. And I was like, okay, Paula, you need to fix that. That is not, you can't think like that. You got to answer the question. Just answer the question.
But
So,
you know what?
I took a minute.
Yeah.
And I answered
Yeah.
the question. And he sang the song. The whole song. In the restaurant.
You care to share, Biddy?
And so that was the beginning and the end, because I'm a singer.
Yeah.
He's got an amazing tenor voice, and he could sing.
And he could sing.
So it was just
Yes.
so charming for him to actually ask me that question. I was charmed even by the fact that I answered the question in a civilized manner, not as a cynical female.
She did.
And
But that says
I
a
was proud of
lot.
myself. I was proud of him, and it just made the date all that much more glorious. It just made the interaction between us something unique and something very special. And actually, that song became our theme song.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you though on that, when you talk about having your life where you would have normally said something different, and I wanted to bring that in because you're in a part in your life where you've learned a lot from things that you've done previously. So talk about, how did you know that you would have, you can self-reflect and say, you know what? My other self would have done this.
Yes.
So now I answered it civilly. He responded civilly.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about, how do you know that you've gotten to a place where you've grown? Because a lot of people are in the situation where they might be looking for someone and they believe it's not going to happen because they're a half centenarian or whatever.
So my story is actually quite different from his, which is so interesting. It
So
makes
give us
the
a little bit
dynamic
about that,
between
yeah.
us. Well, I had decided kind of in my mid-60s, right? All of a sudden one day I had this revelation, well, you just might live another 20 years, right?
Right.
Well, maybe you don't want to be alone.
Right.
for another 20 years.
Right,
Maybe you want to have a
absolutely,
companion, someone to
absolutely.
walk through these, senior years with, right? Ageless is what I like to describe it. And so then I decided, and then I said, and then I don't want to spend the next 20 years and never have sex or intimacy. That just ain't right. That's just what it is. I'm
like
just telling you the story.
That's right.
Okay,
Transparency. All right. I like it.
And so I sought out a therapist. I started talking to my therapist about it. And I spent a year and a half, to roll the story forward.
Gotcha.
I spent a year and a half in therapy trying to change about myself, what I needed to change. Because even when she said, do you want a husband? I said, hold up. I didn't say I want a husband. I said I want a man. Right?
Yeah.
Of course, I had to fix
Yeah.
that. Because
Yeah.
ultimately, I said yes.
Yes.
Because I was the girl who said I would never get married again.
Yeah.
I had had 3 marriages.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
3
right.
divorces. And I said to the same therapist, I said, I had 3 bad marriages. She said, no, you didn't. She said, you had 3 great marriages because you knew when to leave.
Yes.
You're the woman you are today because you knew when to leave. You knew how to take care of yourself and move forward with your life. So I was in that state of mind, and I was actually in this 21-day journaling process of manifesting this new relationship. I had to do a lot of work on myself because I just wasn't interested. I wasn't there.
Yes.
I didn't really want it in the way that I needed to want it. And so I did the work. And about the 18th day, when the little process said, well, he's going to show up in 5 more minutes. Well, not like that, but that's my version.
Right.
He did. God sent him right to the house. His daughter brought him to help him get the jewelry. We met. I'm the only one there with him and his daughter and his son. And she's getting her jewelry, and as told you earlier, I really had already fallen in love with his daughter, and she was a great jewelry client.
Yes.
She brings this man, and I'm sitting there trying to count money, and I'm looking across the room, and there is this man grounding the whole space.
All right.
I mean, the room just went, Yeah.
I'm done.
And I just went,
I'm done.
Who is that? I need some of that. I want to
You
know
gonna make
who
me
he is.
scream.
Because he grounded the whole room. He grounded the house.
And
even
you.
our
Yes.
little dogs. The 2 miniature schnauzers at the time. The baby schnauzer, who's quite a snob, went out and brought him in the house. Wow. And then when he sat down, they both went over and sat with him. I was like, wait.
There's something here.
So yeah.
Yeah, there's something here. But I love that you said you did the work.
Yeah,
I did the work. I had to do the work. Yeah. But you don't get to these ages sometimes, to me, without having to have some work to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I believe those things are kind of important. So I want to fast forward a little bit on some of the work that you may have done and some of the journaling you did and all of those things that kind of came together for you. And you have books that you've written. I know one of those in particular was yesterday when I was crazy. I was reading some of the excerpts from that book, and it talked about some of your past experiences. And that was a book that you read, right, twice to understand you. So talk to us about was that cathartic? Like, did it help you get to a place where you knew you needed therapy, or were you in the process?
Well, I've actually been in therapy off and on my entire life.
Gotcha. Okay.
Ever since I was in my 20s. So therapy was not so much new to me. It was just a different type of therapy. Because when I became disabled with fibromyalgia and lost everything, my job, the marriage I had at the time, my self-respect, my self-worth, because I was much maligned. Nobody believed I was sick, so I was very much abused and mistreated when I was sick. So I spent 7 years getting worse and then 10 years in full-time therapy. But the beauty of that was that God sent me to something called energy medicine, polarity therapy, craniosacral therapy, by the grace of God. My whole story is about the grace of God and the gratitude I have for that grace and how it led me to the idea, which is expressed in my first poetry book, the poem, God is Bigger. So I came to know that God is bigger than any challenge I might have.
Absolutely.
And if I can have a certain amount of spiritual clarity, what I call spiritual clarity, and operate from my higher self more than my other self, then I might make better choices. And I might make better decisions. And so I just gave myself permission to learn, to change, to learn more about my inner self and my soul self.
We were talking about that. We talked about clarity. and what that gives to you so that you can have that connection. And I know that I've read the poem God is Bigger, and you mentioned your poetry book, and how old were you when you said you wrote your first poem?
I wrote my first poem at 57.
Right.
At the age of 57. It was during Katrina, and I had family there, and I was watching what was happening. I was concerned about my brother and his family. And right in the midnight hour, actually it was like between 2 and 4 in the morning, those sacred hours, I was awakened.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I started writing these poems. Just
So you've done all of this. You guys have come together. You're newlyweds now, and you both bring so much wonderful grounding to the table. So you came in and grounded the room, but she was already grounded because she had gone through her process, you know?
So I could feel that.
Yeah.
One of the most important things that I think about in terms of a relationship, one of the first things that I tried to convince her of is that she could trust me. Okay, I wasn't playing around.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so the first thought was, she already said she didn't really think she would ever get married again, and that was not a deal breaker.
Right.
Okay, fine. That doesn't change anything. Okay, so the first thing I did was I got her a commitment ring.
My first ring.
Okay.
Before I got these.
And the commitment was very simple. I'm not going anywhere.
I love it.
You are stuck with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And whatever your history is, okay.
Okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
We had a way of stopping the car. Okay, I got something I'm gonna say it to you. You know. And that's when he said the trust thing was the first one. He said, you can trust me. And of course, you know, all the little chill bumps. Because that was one of my issues was trust. I just knew I would never trust
Of course.
again. And then another time, stop the car. You know, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about love? I said, sounds good to me.
See, my
Just keep it simple.
Yes,
you know,
keep
get
it
right to the
simple.
point, right?
Right.
my position is the man not be overbearing. I can't tell somebody else what to do.
Absolutely.
Okay, I can't demand, I can't argue or debate, whatever. The decision has to come from the other individual.
Yes.
All I can do is ask the question.
But you set up the situation so that you could have a dialogue. What I like and what it sounds like to me is you got confirmation for the stuff that you hadn't received in so many years, and God allowed you to receive that. You were disenfranchised, victimized, all of that kind of stuff. So He was trying to show you it's possible.
Exactly.
You know, and that's a beautiful conversation. To the next part is.
It's really quite remarkable.
Just listening to the conversation over the
sometimes
last hour.
I almost had to pinch myself because I couldn't
Is this
believe
real?
that this was happening. But there was nothing about him that said it wasn't real.
Yeah.
Everything about him said it was real.
But you did not have a predisposition from the book. You came in with all the other things. He validated what he had to offer. You recognized that, and then look at where you are now. So after you look at all of those things that you've gone through, and you've gotten better, and you've worked through all of your, all of this stuff that we bring through life.
Sure.
What do you feel like your purpose of being together and all of the wonderful talents that you guys have and the fun you say that you guys have together? I mean, what do you think the purpose is for you all as the Hope couple? And it might not be around that, but I'm just asking the question because that's a coined a phrase around that.
I think it is that. I think, again, that came from God. I don't think, and I'll let him answer individually, but that's something that came out of our experience with others. When people would hear us tell these stories about the date with the singing and how we met and the dogs and all those things, everybody would say, oh, you give us hope. You give us so much hope. I mean, really. I'm not even making this up, right? Yeah, everybody said it. But it didn't matter their age. Young people said it. Old people said it. And so then we looked at each other and went, well, I guess we're the Hope couple. You know? And so and then people saying, well, you have to write a book. Actually, I already have the book title.
Wow. So you're going to write you did say you guys have a
book
couple.
title already.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that is it in a nutshell. Is to show people what is possible at 72 and 81 and and still having fun
and still having a ball together. Exactly right. Yes, and those are great kind of anecdotes to kind of let people know that life is, you know,
There's
whatever
always
you
hope.
make it. Yes.
Bottom line for me is loving the ability to tell anyone who asks me, I love her.
Yes.
I care about her. Okay, and that makes my day.
Yeah.
And I look forward all the time of telling someone real quick, real serious,
Yes.
that's the way I feel about her.
So I did want to take a minute. Is there anything in your book that you would like to say that you might want to, that you could read, that you, as an excerpt or a poem or anything that you think is representative of your journey?
Okay.
Because I want you all to get a snippet of the thoughtfulness of the poetry that's in there.
Well, you know, this new book, actually, I have my husband to thank for this as well, because when I decided in 2020, again, when God spoke to me and said it was time for this to be put out into the world,
Right.
because people needed this now, because I actually wrote these poems 10 years ago. Okay?
Yes.
Right. So they were waiting, they were waiting there. And when I told Edward what I wanted to do, he was like, okay, well, we're going to take our vacation money and put it in your book account. Now you can go and do your book.
Look at that.
So I just
Look
had to
at
get
that.
that said. Right. So he really supported me and helped me to make this happen. So in that regard,
That's such
I
a
will
powerful
read
statement
one of the
there.
verses from his favorite poem,
Let's do it.
which is a poem called Live, which I just read. Here we go. Live every moment as if it is your last. No blasts from the past, only now is in your grasp. God will always surpass any die you can cast. Life moves very fast. Don't waste time being crass and let your journey vast end up in a crash or be felled in a flash. Be like no other in your class.
All right. I see why you love that, because I can see that all over her. You know, the thing that you have kind of put in my heart and that's resonated with me is that you go through things, but on the other side of it is always whatever you want it to be. Like, you have to make a decision.
Amen.
Yes, you have to decide that you want to be happy. And you've made just the statements, Mr. Eddie, that you said to me are like, you can't worry. There's certain things that you can't do, and whatever you got to put a weight on. Right. So I want you, as a final statement, because the whole process of the Half Centenarian journey is, how are you living your best life? And I'm sure the rest of this, we can roll the credits while you guys are still going through how you're living your best life. But I would love for you to share some things that you can kind of, if you had to give an elevator pitch about your Hope couple. How are you guys living your best life, and what would be some advice you'd give someone to start doing that?
Well, what I like to answer when people ask me that question directly, one of the things that I try to make them realize is you need to change. You need to accept difference. Go for it. If you don't like your life, or bits and pieces of your life, you need to do something about it.
Right.
Okay?
Yep. Absolutely.
Right.
If you're not happy,
Right. Exactly.
do something different.
Do something different.
Do something different.
Yeah. And, for me, it's a couple of things. One, in relationship to what Edward is saying, I'm kind of the feel-better guru. As I said, I'm an energy medicine practitioner. And in my attempts to bring the work that healed me to help heal others, I've sort of brought it down to what I call the Feel Better Challenge,
Yes.
which is a paradigm that I created in 2015, which helps people to learn how to breathe and get grounded and to visualize themselves as successful and to shake off things that they no longer need.
Absolutely.
And listen to their heart, their divine hearts, their physical heart, their emotional heart, to listen to that inner wisdom from the inside out.
Yes.
And so
yes.
my ministry lies there, in my practice and my work with people to help them to heal themselves and to help them to feel better and to help people to understand that, healing kind of makes people get all kind of, awkward in their being, right?
Absolutely.
Because,
I get
it
what
kind
you're
of
saying.
suggests that there's something wrong with you. Not at all.
Right. Right.
You know, it's just about there's so much more to you. It's not that there's something wrong with you.
Yes.
It's that there's so much more to you. And a lot of what there is not being expressed because of what had happened, right? That is
The past.
keeping you
That's
from
right.
moving
Past, the
forward,
past.
right?
Yes.
And so in my
Yesterday.
case, I had a lot of those things
facts.
that had happened
Yeah.
that I needed to be delivered from, if you will, or healed of in my sacred journey with healing. And so I try to share that with the world now. My
Yeah.
goal is to help people feel better, if only just for a moment, and to understand that they can feel better in all the ways that I can do that. And the other mantra that I have after God is bigger is love is the answer.
Yes. To me, and just thank you so much for sharing your journey. You're still on it. You're still doing great things. You have so much that you shared in the way of your authorship. You're sharing also with what you're going to do as a couple. I just admonish everyone out there, listen to and take heed from people who have now come to a place where they can honestly say, I've been here, now I'm here.
Absolutely.
You know, I've done this, now look where I am now. I am a revelation of what is possible, and you have to be open. I'll take that from both of you, because you said that if you don't like it, change it. If you want to be something different, you have to be open. And so I just want to say thank you so much to the couple together and to you all individually. Thank you for sharing your time, your love, your relationship, your marriage, your journeys with us. I know you guys have the information on the screen, how to get in touch with Miss Paula and how you can get a hold of her materials. They are life-changing, just like you see these individuals. They are sitting here with me now. That same information and that same zest about life is in that book. And love is the answer. I thank you so much. And that's what we're here to share on the Half Centenarian channel. God is bigger. Give me an air high
All
five.
day, every day.
Every day. Whoop, whoop.
All day, every day.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. You guys have heard
Thank
it
you for
here.
having
You
us.
are so welcome. We look
Say
forward
in the Feel
to
Better Challenge, blessed be.
blessed be.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Thank you. And on that note, blessed be. Hey guys, I hope you loved and enjoyed that interview. We are here in the DMV. We have so many wonderful people that we are showcasing here. Even Einstein wants to tell you to tune in. And also, don't forget to like us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Follow us. Submit those 3 names of people that have inspired you to possibly be you. I look forward to seeing you guys. Thank you so much again for following us on this journey. Be safe, be careful, and we will see you soon.